your first book all those years ago, still famous, was about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Andre Laguerre, who's the managing editor,
A legendary figure in his own right.
Legendary figure who was supposedly de Gaulle's PR man during the war. I don't know. At any rate, he decided in the bar one day that we should, that some writer, staff writer, should spend a season with a football team and write a book. And for some reason, I got called into it. I had just gotten divorced and was between, you know, sort of at loose ends. So I went to Pittsburgh and spent a whole season there. There again, I was supported by SI while I was doing it. And on the other hand, it was before sports books had really started selling very well, so it was not a huge seller. But
it was critically successful, and in fact, again, years later, people still talk about it as one of the great sports books written.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's still in print with the University of Pittsburgh Press.
You can still find a copy, and it was called Three Bricks.
About three bricks
shy of a load.
Yeah, which is you know, it's a little too long as a title, but there you go.
So you left Sports Illustrated in '75, and then have been freelancing in essence ever since.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I haven't had a job since.
And for a variety of, well, where you've had a series of jobs, just they've been really short jobs, right?
Yeah, well, they're not jobs. I mean, I haven't been employed. I've had lots of column gigs and things.
I think, as we said, it's 160-something magazines and different publications.
Yeah.
Strangely, you know, we all remember weird things from people's past. I remember a story that you wrote for Esquire, and it was after, you probably remember this, after Elizabeth Taylor had stayed at the Plaza Hotel and run up some exorbitant...
Right. Actually, I think it was for Condé Nast Traveler.
Was it for travel? And run up some exorbitant room service bill, right? And they sent you to the Plaza, and I think it was like $5,000 that she had spent.
I think it was $2,500 a day she had spent.
And so they said, Roy, go check into the Plaza Hotel and see if you can spend that much money.
And I couldn't do it.
And I remember you ordered everything on the menu. You had massages, right?
Yeah. I had people. It was like the Marx Brothers stateroom in the movie. You know, people were in and out, bringing in tables and things, and chickens and stuck pigs and things. And I don't know how she did it. I wish I could meet her.
And my memory is that you had like done everything you could, and you had only gotten like $1,600. It was like, what could she possibly have done to get to that amount of money?
I called down to the room service and said I would like an eagle. And they said, sir, and I said, an American eagle. But they didn't have one. They couldn't find one.
That might have gotten you over the top.
Right?
Yeah. So see, I think of that story, and I think of some of the other stuff that you've done over the years, and I just think it's really kind of fun because you've had the ability, the luxury to pick and choose the stuff you want to dip into. And
yeah, I have. I've been able to travel all around and meet all sorts of interesting characters, and then of course I had to go sit down somewhere and stay up all night and write it. But
that's okay.
Yeah, it's a good
on the back end. Now you're here at the Texas Book Festival with Alphabet Juice, but you're also going to do a program with Peter Segal.
Yeah.
From Wait, Don't Tell Me, and so. Let's just spend a second talking about that. That is, of course, a program that airs across NPR stations, public radio stations nationally, and it's a weekly news quiz program, and you mentioned Barack Obama was on at one point.
Right.
But there's also an opportunity for you to talk about the news in some form or fashion. That must, I mean, I've been occasionally on that program myself. You're a regular, and it's a really fun and innovative kind of thing, old school kind of thing. Yeah,
now that it's, when you were on it, we were all doing it from separate places.
Right,
I was in my house with cans on my ears.
Yeah.
And in my underwear many times.
Which is how I imagined it. Right,
That's right. Yeah. And the guy would go by, would come to mow my lawn in the middle of the show, and I'd just say, I'm on the radio. And he'd say, I'm on the radio.
Now it's live, right?
Now it's live. It's in front of a live audience. It's taped in front of a live audience.
Well, it's wildly successful.
Yeah, it's a good
Great
show.
Fun to do. Yeah. What else before we go, what else are you working on now?
Well, I'd love to do another word book, another alphabet jam or something. I don't know, and I may do another book that somebody just I guess I shouldn't say because I haven't quite agreed to do it. A nice, quick, short book. I like to do short books.
Right.
And I always want to write one more novel. I always wanted to write I wrote one novel, but I'd like to write one
about the first female president. Yeah, a great one.
Who was, and. Called First Hubby, and I wrote, but it was really hard for me to write a novel. It was I tried to imagine how a woman would become president in 1992, and then worked my way back.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I did that. I'd love to write a crazy novel, like Tristram Shandy or something. I always wanted, or Alice in Wonderland or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to kind of, you know, Dan Jenkins once said that when he was a boy in Fort Worth, he and all his friends had these pseudonyms that they worked up in case they got stopped by the police. And his was Bob Roberts. And sure enough, there's gotten some kind of mischief, and the police got him, and they said, "What's your name?" And he said, "Bob Roberts." And they said, "What?" And he said, "Dan Jenkins." You know, and that's always the way I feel. The way I feel when I'm writing fiction. I always want to say, "Oh, come on, I'm just making that up." You know, I just want to be, you know, above board with everybody. And so it's hard for me to keep my head in fiction, but I want to try to do
That's
it
a maybe, but I think the word book could be a definite.
Yeah, I would love to do another one. Yeah, that's why I hope this one. If this one is in every American home, then maybe the second one will be in every.
Well, you
Norwegian
go
home.
buy that book, so Roy gets to do
There
another
you
one.
go.
Good. All right, Roy, great to see
That's
you.
the kind of
Fun to
message
have
I
you
have
back
too.
in Austin.
Thank you, Evan. It's good to be here.
And next time you're back, we'll have you back again.
Great.
Roy
Thank-
Blount, thank you very much.